Welcome, I'm Darren, and I'll be your guide today as I rank the worst insert card designs for 1992 in baseball. In 1992, we got to see the world of insert cards take a major leap forward, where in 1991, there were some inserts that were just great, and there were other inserts that were really lacking. In 1992, it's not the entire industry, but most of the insert cards designed in the industry had moved up to a very professional level. And in many cases, it's really amazing. So it was a lot of fun as a collector to see all of this and get excited about all these cards. And so in going through a best of list for 1992, it's really exciting. But there are also going to be some inserts that really don't quite hold up, and that's of course what this is here to look at. And the first insert card gives you a pretty good idea of where the bar is for this list, which is it's Fleer in 1992. And it's kind of weird for Fleer to be present on this worst of list because of the fact that they had always been toward the top, if not at the top of inserts. They're the first company to take inserts seriously. Yes, we had inserts with tops prior to when Fleer really got into it. But Fleer invented the modern concept of inserts, of randomly inserted in packs everybody can access, and card designs that are interesting and changing every year. And they'd always done a really good job of staying at or above the curve. Although in 1991 there was kind of some, you could see that they were kind of getting surpassed a little bit. But in 1992 they definitely came in and took things seriously. And they were, for the most part, above average. But with the rookie sensations, the reason I have this on the list is because this does a great job of showing how even when you're working really hard and rising to the occasion, you don't get all the pieces right all the time. And with this card, I look at it and it feels like most of the Fleer cards they did in 1992, where they have some gold foil, they have a really rich color for the background, they have a really good cardstock, the way that everything is done. I look at this card and I go, yes, they got it, but there's something missing. There's something lacking in this card, and that is the reason that I got to toss it onto this list as an honorable mention. It has the gold foil, everything that it needs works, but the images don't quite work with the card. That's a hindrance. That big plaque down at the bottom of gold foil, the way that it rounds out on the ends is a little weird, and then the text inside just doesn't quite work. But more than anything else, the card back is just terrible. So this is a card where I look at it and I go, this is almost like just about all the other cards they have. Almost, but not quite. And it's partially here because it's a letdown for Fleer, but it's also because at the end of the day, while it has most of the things that I want to make it look good, it doesn't succeed. This is a card that I don't like. That's the way I'm going to put it. So I wish they did a better job, but they didn't. So here we are. But it is still a very impressive card, and it is a very distinct card. So as I move on to the actual top 5 list of worst cards, at number 5 I have Score's 90s Impact Player. And for this is a better card. Overall, it's a much better card. The images are better. They read better. The design on the front, I think, is a better thought out design. The card back is way, way better. The problem is there's nothing distinct about this card. It's not a card that you walk away from really remembering too well. It is a card you're going to recognize. So when you see it, you go, oh yeah, that card. But the design, while, okay, true, we got the White Sox here, and that is, it's kind of a black on black kind of design theme. When the design is strong, it's a little bit overpowering and doesn't work with the card. When it's more in tune with it, it tends to kind of disappear. The card design overall shows that Score was still trying to understand this whole full bleed concept. Now, these were not intended to be chase cards. They were one per pack for the release that they were in. So this was designed to be a set that you just kind of put together. And that's the way the cards work. So overall, I think they're successful for what they're supposed to do. But in terms of, if I was going to say, hey, you want to get a cool insert card for 1992, this is not what I would advise you to get. Overall, I would say that for what it is very successful. But at the end of the day, I'm just not excited about it. That's really what it comes down to. It's just kind of, it's a second tier insert set. And there are a lot of really good upper tier insert sets in 1992. So that's why it goes on this list. But when I go on to number 4, now we're getting back to a regular chase insert card. And it is the Rookie Phenoms, or the BC cards for Donruss. And the problem that this card has is, again, it has all the things that it needs to look good. It has a black border, that's a help. It has gold foil in it, that's a help. But there's nothing about the front of this card that stands out. In fact, I mentioned that the score card, it's a card that when you see it, you're going to remember it, but you're not necessarily going to think of it. This is a card where even when I see it, I go, what is that? Who made it? I mean, that's a great question. Who made it? Well, if you look on the card back, you know exactly who made it. It's Donruss. In fact, I love the card back. It really is a great card back. But the card front is such a letdown. It is not even a well-intended card design. To me, this is where they just kind of threw some stuff on and showed that Donruss had no idea what they were doing when it came to inserts. They were doing better with their regular card designs. They would still have to make a major leap, which they would do in 1993, but even at inserts, they were having a tough time with it. So I look at this and I go, you know what? They could have used Fleer as a great model, because Fleer just makes much, much better inserts. But again, the card back, I love the card back. And every time that I run into a card where I gush over the card back and have nothing good to say about the card front, I always find it ironic. And this is very much the opposite of what I have to say about Fleer, which is convenient because as I move on to number 3, I'm going to Fleer and the team leader cards. And this is a case where, okay, the back of the card isn't terrible, but the back of the card is it's not even really all that good. It's not as bad as the Rookie Sensations. The card front, however, I look at this and I have to wonder, was this the very first insert design that they did for 1992, where they practiced on this gold foil? Let's put a bunch of gold foil on it. We'll put like a baseball diamond on one side with some text and stuff, and just a little border around the outside for a big image, and yeah, that'd be cool. Got that out of the way and then started working on designs. It's too big, it's too clunky, it's too bold, it's too much gold foil. It doesn't have any of the subtlety that we saw with so many of the Fleer inserts. This one to me is about as blocky as you're going to find any Fleer insert being, and that's the problem it has. It is just a big old no. Please no. I don't even want to continue to talk about it. So I'm going to move on to number 2 for a card that has a much better appeal, except for the fact that it doesn't have a unique design, and that is the Sluggers for Upper Deck. This is another one of those where it's not supposed to be chased. It just shows up in every pack. And it is again a very clean card design, and the gold bat is pretty cool, but it feels like it's just the regular card design tweaked a little bit. Kind of like a Donruss insert, but this was with Upper Deck. And true, Upper Deck had been doing that in 1991, but why were they still doing it in 1992? So for me, while this card does look better than some of the others we've seen, it also is less inspiring because it looks more like a subset than an insert set. Come on, dude. If you're going to do an insert set, make it distinct, make it stand out. And in this case, it works well enough for what it does, but what it does is supposed to be pack filler. And that's really what it is. Score actually pulled off something that was distinct and cool on its own. Here, no. But there is a major divide from here to the worst card design for me in baseball, which is the Donruss Elite. I'm truly lost for words. I was not a fan of the 91 Elite cards. I know that a lot of people really like them. To me, they showed the lack of design knowledge for Donruss. In 1992, they just went super flashy. And it's all about that flashiness on the outside. I'm not a fan at all. And for some reason, they still have papery cardboard on the card back. I don't get why that's the case. But this card front is just so flashy, and that's all it is. It's the flashiness. It's a gimmick. Now, this same year, Pacific did Prism cards as an insert card, and while it does look like a stick-on image pasted onto the front, at least it does look like a cohesive design, like it was well thought out. They look good. In this case, I don't think they look good at all. They're just no, no, no. I don't want to say anything more because I'm hoping it's self-explanatory. It is shiny, it is flashy, it is an object, and even though I'm into all that stuff, this one I don't. I think that Donruss, I think that this is an insert set I think is way overrated. I understand its place in history, but that's it. It's a place in history. It's otherwise just a terrible card design. It absolutely is. So, that is my list of the worst baseball inserts of 1992. I'm going to be looking at basketball and hockey coming up, and then I'm going to do a wrap-up video where I look at all 4 sports, the worst inserts across all 4 of them. You better believe that Donruss Elite is definitely showing up on there. We'll see about the Upper Deck card, if that makes it, and who knows, the Fleer team leader is definitely worthy of being part of that discussion. In fact, I may flip that and the Upper Deck card in that other list. We'll see how it goes. But definitely look out for those, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to be notified, and yeah, thank you very much for watching.